Hi there, students. I was asked to explain the word lexicon, and then I started to get bogged down with the word Lexis, and if there is any difference between the word Lexis and lexicon. Well, both of these words talk about all of the words in a language. All of the words. I think it's probably more common to use Lexis in a particular area, but professional area. So I don't know, the Lexis of football or the Lexis of business. But I think you could use lexicon as well. I think also a lexicon is more a book, a dictionary. And one clear difference between Lexis and lexicon, the lexicon also includes all of the grammar and all of the pronunciation, whereas the Lexis is just the whole range of vocabulary. So I reckon I've got a pretty good Lexis, and I use a pretty wide Lexis in order to give you class. And if you can improve your Lexis, your lexicon, it will help you to speak English. Learning vocabulary. Lexis is very important in language. Okay, so the lexicon. In my lexicon, boring is even worse than bad. Or in most people's lexicon, chocolate equals sin, equals doing something bad. And there are always new words entering into the lexicon. Lexicon, it's the full range. It's the full range of vocabulary. It's got all of the words. A lexicon is like a dictionary, and you can use the word lexicon for a dictionary. I wouldn't use Lexis for a dictionary. The Lexis of a language is found in the dictionary. So the Lexis, all of the words in that language, the totality of all the words, including all of the different forms and the different ways they're used. Or, for example, language learning has its own Lexis. Yeah, we want to talk about the present continuous, or the future perfect, or a predicative, or a post-nominal. Okay, so jargon is another word for Lexis. And if you want to communicate effectively with people in a particular field, you need to use the right technical Lexis. You need to use the correct vocabulary, the repertoire of verbs, of words, the cant that they use. So the lexicon, it's like a list of all the words, all the vocabulary of a person or a language or a branch of knowledge, or the lexicon, a dictionary as well. The Lexis, the total stock of words, that's the same thing, isn't it? Okay, so the Lexis of a language, all of the words. And notice the Lexis itself is distinct from the grammar. The grammar is part of the lexicon, but not part of the Lexis, the way it's put together. So, yeah, the Lexis designates the complete set of all the possible words in a language. And the Oxford English Dictionary covers the full Lexis of the English language. It's the vocabulary. It's all of these different words. So the English lexicon is enormous, and it's always evolving. He has an extensive lexicon, and he can communicate very well in various different languages. He has a very strong grasp of the lexicon of the English language, and like that, it means he can communicate well. It makes his writing much more interesting. Her Lexis was very good, and she was able to explain and articulate what she was thinking very carefully. A good author has a very interesting Lexis. It's important to understand the lexis in a particular field to be able to communicate effectively with other people in that field, because if you don't know the lexis, you're going to be in problems, in difficulty. Very often technical lexis is too complex for an average reader. This book has a very extensive lexis of electrical terminology. His lexis is strongly influenced by his background in science. An author uses a good lexis to create a really interesting picture in a reader's mind. Very often you will find, and I've heard this from students, that very often their lexis in English is so advanced that they struggle to find appropriate conversation partners who are native speakers, because normally your lexis, if you're always learning English, is probably better than that of the average native. The lexis of a poet is filled with imagery and metaphor. Okay, if you have a talent for explaining things in complex things in a simple way, you need a good lexis. The lexicon of our language is influenced by our cultural background. Where we come from influences our lexicon. The lexicon used in this legal document is complicated in order to confuse people, to make it difficult. If you read a lot, it will help to expand your lexicon. So, let's see, formality, lexis and lexicon. I think I'm going to give them both a 6.5 in formality. And then lexis, from ancient Greek lexis, diction, or a word, from to speak, and lexicon, a lexicon in ancient Greek, a dictionary. So, lexicon and lexis.